Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So in the previous videos we discussed about Spring introduction and environment setup, also the basic project structure. Okay, so this video we discussed about the CRUD operations. So we'll add MySQL also and JPA. So these two dependencies will add in this project, and we'll see the CRUD operations like add, delete, update. So these operations we'll see in this video. Okay, let's get started. Hi guys, so in the previous session we discussed about how to create the Spring Boot project and its structure means how the Spring Boot project is looks like. So these things we did in the last video, right? So if you are not familiar with this, how to create the Spring Boot application, just you can go with that previous video. I will give that link in the cards. You can just go through that. Okay, so in this video we will see these things. So how to deal with the MySQL and JPA. Okay, so we see how to do the code operations along with this. Okay, so to deal with the JPA, so we need to add two dependencies, actually JPA with MySQL. We'll come to the pom.xml file. So this is my pom.xml file, and if you see, this is for MySQL connector, right? So where you get this information means just you can open the browser and you can search for MySQL dependency. See for Spring Boot. Okay, otherwise Spring Boot MySQL dependency, Maven dependency. Okay, so if you are working with Maven, you need to check for the Maven dependency. If you are working for either Gradle application, then you can choose for the Gradle. See, so these are the different versions of MySQL. See, MySQL connectors Java 8.0.33. Okay, just you can take this one and you can just add into this one. Okay, this is for MySQL, and another one for JPA. JPA is nothing but either Hibernate will deal internally. Okay, to that one, just you can search here also like JPA. Sorry, you can search for JPA. So it will show Spring Boot starter data JPA. You can click on this. So see, these are the different versions of JPA. You can click and you can take whatever you want based on your project which we are using. So if you see 3.2.4 Spring Data JPA. Okay, so like this you can take the dependencies and you can add the Maven. Okay, so once you add it into the Maven, and here if you see the Maven icon, you can just reload the application. Okay, reload all Maven projects, right? So it will get all the dependencies. Okay, and it will come into this. In this here you can able to see the all the dependencies. So now we are added MySQL, right? So if you go down, these are the market.j unit, and along with you can see the Spring Boot starter. Somewhere see these are the Hibernate, these are the data JPA things. Okay, and if you see, this is the MySQL connector jars. Okay, like this. So just you need to add the dependency, automatically Spring Boot will pull all this dependency whatever you want for the application. Okay, so and there is one more configuration side. So if you deal with database side, so we need to add these properties. All these properties I'll give you into that description, else I'll share you my GitHub repository link in the description. You can just download from there. Okay, so what about all these properties? We can just quickly go through this. This is for URL, which database, where is the schema. If you see, I given schema is text, so it is look for the test schema. If you see in my database, I just created one schema like text. So this is the schema it will look. If the schema is not available, not created, then it will get failed. Okay, so if you know, if you want to know how to create the schema and all these things, already I did one video. You can go through that MySQL setup. There you can know the how to create the schema and all. Still you have any difficulties to create, just ping me in the comment box. I'll help you on this. Okay, so in my database username is root, password is also root. Okay, so this is related to that Hibernate, DDL and dialect. These are the properties we require to deal with the MySQL. Okay, okay, then coming to that our Spring Boot Java classes level. So here we see the controller, entity, repository, request, response, service. So in the previous session we seen all these things. So still I am not added any request and response. directly I'm going with the entity class. Okay, so if you see this entity class, so this entity class is deal with the database usually. So we cannot use this entity class directly to pass request and response actually. So we need to use the request and response object separately. So but time being I'm using this one. In the further videos we'll see those things also. And first come to the controller. So this is my main controller. So if you see here, I am using the request controller, rest controller, request mapping. This is the API. Inside that we have the save, find all, find by, based on the employee ID we are able to find that one, and this is the delete. Okay, this is for one adding, inserting the employee. Otherwise you can rename to that insert employee. Okay, so with this API it will insert employee into our database. This is the post mapping. So post will use to store the data into the database. Okay, get mapping will use to fetch all the employee information from the table. And there is one more get mapping, find by ID. So based on the ID we can able to find the specific employee ID details. Okay, this is all about delete. So delete the data, delete all data. So it is not related to any specific, so it will delete all the data. Okay, delete all. So if you want you can show the specific based on the employee ID also, you can delete the data. Okay, we can see that one also. Okay, let's get start here. So first you can, this is about controller. If you come to the entity just now we seen, right, we have only employee ID, name, city. Okay, and here we are using the auto increment value. Okay, this is the table we are using. So if you want to use class name and employee table name both should be same, then no need to define the annotation table. So if you see here also I'm not specifying any annotation column, because I'll use same name and city name both same in the database column also. That is the reason I'm not specified anything. Okay, and if you see this one is becoming the primary key in our table. Okay, and coming to the repository, so this is the employee repository extending JPA repository. Okay, this is the JPA one, Hibernate one. So to inserting data into the database, so here we need to pass the entity. If you come into this class, this is again entity and this is the primary key. So we need to pass like entity class name and primary key data type. Okay, and we need to annotate those repository like annotation repository. So this class will have the capability to perform the database operations. So that is the reason to make that class as a repository using annotation repository. And there is another package like service, and inside the service we have a service and service VM there, because service should be the interface. So I created as the interface. These are the functionality we'll do using the service like business functionality. So here is the annotation service, and these are the all the implementation, I mean the abstract methods. So we need to implement the service and we need to give our own business functionality to the service. Okay, so and if you observe this one more thing, so here I'm not mentioning any setters and getters. So why? Because I'm using the lombok. If you see this lombok package. Okay, so if you are using lombok, no need to give the setters and getters to that application. Okay, so here I'm using annotation data and annotation all argument constructor, no argument constructor. So it will create the constructor by internally, and it will gives us, it will take work from the lombok. Okay, so I hope you are clear on these classes. So still if you have any doubts on these classes and how we are creating, or whatever you have any doubts, you can just mention in the comment box. I'll clarify those things. Okay, okay, and coming to the next. So in the next we need to run this application now. And before that one, so here is the target, because whenever we run this any application, this target folder will create, and we'll see the jar file also in the target folder. I'll show you now. Now I'll show you how the jar file will looks like. Okay, so already we seen how to run this application. If you still we are not aware of this how to run this application, just you can check with the previous video. Okay, so here is the option, you can just click on this one, so it will start building the application. So it is started building. See, processing the Java. And if you see, this is our console. So here we're mentioning the system out in the previous session. Now we're starting executing. And if you see, the Tomcat is started in 8080, and these are related to that Hibernate JPA related things. And here Tomcat service is up and running on port number 8080. Okay, so now it is started, building is completed. Once the Maven build is completed, see this target folder again is created. And if you see, so if you want to see that jar file, just you have to go to this package. This is a jar file. So internally these things are there. Okay, right click and copy path reference, go, sorry, this is not a correct path, target file. So this is generated sources. Okay, otherwise we'll directly go Spring Boot employee service. Okay, we know the path, right? Spring Boot employee service, this is the target. These are all related to that our package only, right? Employee repository, everything will be there. So our target folder will generate the jar file usually. Okay, this is the target folder. Okay, and next coming to the execution part. So our service is started execution. So how to test this service now? So that is a bigger one. So usually people will use the Postman mostly to test the APIs. Okay, so we are, so here now we are also try with the Postman now. So there are 4 APIs. First one is the insert employee. So API slash insert employee, you can open the Postman. So localhost 8080, and this is the API. And after that, what is the API name we are using here? You can just check. So insert employee is the API name we are using. Okay, just you can mention this one. So, and if you see name and city, I'm passing for this. Okay, so if you see, so now just execution is done, right? You can see the database now. So once you are executing those, once this application is up and running, so if you see data table is created, employee and employee sequence, you can see table is already with no data in the table. Okay, so initially while running the application itself, so this table will create. Okay, just you can cross check this table is created or not at the time of running the application. Okay, so whatever providing the entity class, entity class like employee id, employee name and city, right? So based on those values, this employee class is creating the employee table id, city, name, but there is no data, right? So first we need to insert some data. Okay, see here, this is the employee, insert employee API. I am passing name and city, I'm not passing any id. And if you see this method also, it is expecting the annotation request body. Request body means we need to pass in the form of JSON. Okay, so if you see, this is one JSON in the form of JSON. Okay, there is another ways also. Instead of using this response body, you can use annotation, request, param and path variables also, but that is depend upon the scenarios what we are going to use. Okay, so whenever I hit this one, it will come to the post API, and it will go to the add employee. Add employee will call the repository.save, and it is returning the employee added successfully. Okay, this is the message you will get once this insertion is done. Okay, so when you hit this one, see, request is processed, see, employee added successfully. Okay, so this is a message coming from here. So we'll just check in the database also, just you can refresh, see, the data is inserted. Okay, IDA number 1 Bangalore Java Tech. Okay, this one employee is inserted successfully. Okay, again if you want to restart this service, just you can click on this one, automatically it will restart the service. Okay, so now one insertion is done. Okay, so if you want to insert the multiple employees at one time, so in this case what we need to do, so in the argument level we need to pass the list of employee as an object. Okay, so how we need to do that one is, here is the only employee we are passing, right? So how we need to pass list of employee, like this we need to pass, we need to just import, and here also we need to change this argument into list. Okay, like this. Okay, see, import this one. Okay, so here also we need to use the save method for list of argument entities. See, now you can put the employee. See, so now this application is ready to executing the multiple employees. Okay, we'll try one more time, we'll restart. Whenever we are doing the changes, we need to restart the application to reflect our changes. But there is another way. So without using that start and stop this service also, we can do things. Okay, I'll show you that one also. For that one we need to add some plugins. I'll show you where we need to add those plugins. Once again, there is some issue in the service class. This is a service. So okay, we have the interface, right? So we just change service IAML, and also we need to save in change into the service also. So this is the list of employees as argument. Okay, because we are implementing, right? So our class is implementing service class is implementing the employee service. That is the reason whatever the changes we are doing, first we need to define in the service class, then we need to do the changes in the service IMPL. Okay, just remember that one, and we'll restart this application. Now this is a list of employees, right? So we need to pass the multiple employees now. So copy. For example, I'm passing different value Anand and Bangalore. Okay, these are the two arguments I'm passing. Okay, this is the JSON. Application is running, and I can try to hit this one again. See, employee added successfully. If you come to the database and see the values, see now two values is come, Java Tech Kanti. Okay, so not only the two values, how many values you want to insert, just you can put into that object in the JSON. So for that reason only we are using this list of employees to pass in the arguments. Okay, you want to understand this one. If you have any doubts on this, just you can ping me in the comment box. I'll explain you one more time on this. Okay, and apart from that, find all. Okay, this is the get method. So how many employees are available in the database table? To get those information, you can use this method. Okay, find all method. So how to do that one? Come to the Postman. For this one, we'll add a new API. Okay, so for that one, I'm just adding the request, and this request is get request. So I'm using that get all, and here you can keep the your HTTP localhost 8080 slash API slash what is the API name, find all is the method API name. Okay, so whenever hitting this, there is no body for this one because this is a get API. It will give the response directly. Okay, to insert this one, see the response is coming in the JSON format, id1 id2 id3. Okay, so if it is get method, not only the Postman, you can try with the browser also. When I hit this one, it will give the response. Okay, but post API you cannot do it from the browser because it will expect some inputs to process the data, right? So that is the reason cannot do that one. Okay, this is the get API. Okay, so now if you see the employee service, we have the message and get all employees. We are done. Not only message, this name should be the insert. This is for insert employees. Okay, and this is for get employee, get all employees. Okay, these are the two APIs as of now tested, and there is a one more API, employee API find by ID. Based on the employee ID, you can find that value. So how to do this one? We can create one more API for this. Put like duplicate, and here you can just rename find by ID. Okay, this is one more API. So instead of find all, it is like find by ID slash what is ID? I'll give the one. Okay, if you see the database 1 2 3 IDs are there, right? So I'm passing as a 1. Okay, 1 as a ID. Okay, and this is like get only. If you are hit this one, see employee ID details is printing. Okay, so whenever you are adding value here, you can check the params also. These values will come, you can add from here also. Okay, this is the one value we are adding for the get employee. If you want to second employee details, you can do the second, then it will give the second employee details. Okay, so like this you can able to find whichever the employee details you want based on the ID. Okay, so next if you see the delete, so currently in the delete, if you perform this operation, see what will happen. So this is the delete. Okay, so here get is done, post is done, right? So if you want to do the delete operation, then you can add the one more, and here you can change to the delete, and here you can change API delete. Okay, so here also we're not passing anything, directly we're doing the delete employees. Okay, save, hit this one, see nothing is came, means I'm not returning any value. So if you see this one, see all the employees are deleted. Okay, so this is the delete operation. So if you see delete operation, we are not returning anything, right? So if you want to return the something for the delete operation, either it is success or not, so we need to do the changes for this one. From here we need to return all employees deleted. Okay, so if you see, this is the return type. So but here you are using void, so that is the reason it is coming issue. So we can return the value as a string, and also this is a service IMPL, so it is pointing to service. So we need to change this return type also, and after that come to the controller. In the controller also we need to change this return, and this line also we need to add the return statement. You can just start it. This is the delete operation. We are added string as a return. Come to the delete all data. Here also it is returning this data, this one. This is the service I am built and change it into the service. Okay, now can you restart this application and see how it will be the response now, because we didn't receive any confirmation message from this one, right? So if we are adding some responses, based on that we'll get some confirmation saying that employees are deleted from the table. Okay, let's see that one, how it will work. So whenever you're doing any changes, we need to restart this server. So to fix this one, there is one other way also. We'll discuss that one in the further videos. Okay, so because if you are trying to everything in the one time, then it is get difficult. Okay, so application is started 8018 coming here. So API deleted because there is no data in the backend now, so we need to insert some employees data. So I'm inserting some data. So this time I'm in Java Tech Bangalore, Anand Bangalore. There is a few more data I'll insert. Otherwise, two data is fine. You can insert. And employee added successfully. Come to the database. Just refresh this. Two data are inserted. And another way, come here and delete employees. Hit this one. See, all employees deleted. Okay. So like this, you can get the confirmation message also if you want. If you refresh the database, there is nothing. Okay. Okay. So from this session, what you learn here is, so if you come to the controller, one is for inserting to the employee, this is for post mapping, and finding all employee, this is get, and finding the employee based on id, this is also get, and deleting the employee delete. Okay, so annotation post mapping, annotation get mapping, annotation delete mapping. So these are the three APIs we did on this session, right? Okay, you can just go through this thing and try in yourself and you will get some more ideas. Okay, and also you'll get some doubts as well, because in this session I'm not using any kind of logs also. Usually in the real-time projects they will keep all the logs and each and every method where the control is moving one place to another place, right? If you are facing any issues, for example, if database the table is not there, then you'll get some issues, right? So in this case, still how where the exact issue is coming, to find out those kind of issues we need to add the logs as well. Whenever doing any changes, each time we need to restarting the server, so that one also we need to do. And there is so many things in the Spring Boot, so can do one by one slowly. Okay, so that's it from this video, guys. Thanks for watching. So this content is helpful for you, please like, share, subscribe my channel. Thank you.